I mean, I was gonna just end the live right there. I think my network just ended the live abruptly, but I just thought, okay, no, I shouldn't leave my people hanging. They start this conversation, then they're not able to know how we concluded the whole conversation. So okay, so I thought, no, that was not gonna happen. Let us just take it to the next level and begin to bring it to a close, begin to bring it to a close gradually. All right. So we've said a lot tonight. We've said a lot tonight about Temi Otedola and the decision to change her name fully to Ajibade. And yeah, I'm still waiting for many of you to drop your comment. I would like all of you to drop your comment and let's know what. In case you're just seeing this video, there's a first part. Just search for my videos with Temi Ajibade in it. You can watch the first part of this live whenever you're watching this video, or if you're joining us now after this live video is over. All right. So Carolyn Danjumans, like I said, she reclaimed her maiden name. She reclaimed her maiden name. Tiwa Savage is also using Savage. She never went to Balogun and all that, still using Savage. So some women, they just drop the husband's name. Even some that even take the husband name when there's a divorce, they drop it immediately, while some keep it. Some keep it. Yeah. There's an instance of May Edochie and Yul Edochie. I'm not sure if she's still using the Edochie or she has changed from it and all that. So some will say, man, I'll carry my man's name with pride. And I love signboard, and while some just they even can once there's a separation, they can't wait to drop the name. Something it was almost as if it was a weight on them and all that. So that's that about that. Tiwa Savage, not going near anything Balogun for a long time to come. She's been Tiwa Savage and she's still sticking to Tiwa Savage. Yeah. So some true life stories. Let me share some stories with you. There's a story of this Nigerian woman who lost her job opportunities because her documents carried two surnames. Carried two surnames. Another who kept her maiden name and later passing on to her children abroad was still an issue also. So, like you keep your maiden name, then your children are now bearing that maiden name instead of their father's surname. It's just it's a serious issue. It's a serious issue. I think Tonto DK falls into this category. I think our son is bearing our name instead of Churchill. Our son is bearing DK instead of Churchill. I don't know if it has changed now, but there was a point in time like that. I want to believe, allegedly. But now maybe things have changed and all that because she's been a bit quiet, which is a good one. I can recall when she had that issue with her husband, that's Churchill. She made up her mind that her son was going to be DK and that she was going to name him after her maiden name, which I think she stuck to. I don't know how long she stuck to it, but I think she stuck to it for a bit and all that stuff. So let me know, people. Let me know which one do you prefer? Would you like the idea of Tammy sticking with our father's our husband's name instead of our father's name, or you'd have preferred the idea of her sticking with her father's name? Which would you have done if it was you? Would you have stuck with your papa name, or you could say no, I'm going with my husband's name? Which would you have done, considering that this is a reputable name, Otedola? I mean, even some Otedolas that are not from that family, they are proud and they use that name proudly. Say, I'm Otedola, I'm Rashid Otedola. But look at it this way: one man built, at least one man started the work of making that name so influential, which is probably the generation before the dads. That's the Otedola that was governor. You know, So one man can also, just like Tosin Ajibade, Mr. Easy, can also decide to make that name also become super. So Temi has got something going here. She has something working out here, which is great. Which is great. But at the end of the day, what matters most is the couple, their decision to work together. Whether you, we've seen people that kept the powerful name and the marriage did not last 6 months. And we've seen people that dropped the powerful name and the marriage is still doing well and fine. So I think what's most important is the couple, whatever they decide to do. So it's not, I don't go for here or there. Anyone that works for you, anything that rocks your boat is fine with me. Anything that rocks your boat. But at the end of the day, surname or not, what matters is your value. What did you learn from that family that has that surname? Are you coming into this marriage to break another man's child's head? Are you coming into this marriage to show love? Are you coming into this marriage to pull what has been good grades down? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some people marry some people and then things just go south from there. So what are you bringing to this marriage? Are you bringing a great spirit? Are you bringing God? Are you bringing the power of God? Are you bringing focus? Are you bringing motivation for your spouse? Or you're just coming to just be there, just be there, just to enjoy the name. So beyond whose name is changed to or whose name is dropped, I really think the most important part of a marriage is the values that each of the guys have learned from that family. That family, whether it's a people will say, no, no, I'm marrying him. I'm not marrying the mother. I'm not marrying the father. It shock you. It go shock you. You are marrying him, but he's a product of that family. So whatever he has learned, whatever he has become, whatever they have trained him, whatever he has seen, watch out, it will manifest in your marriage. It's as simple as that. You are marrying him, yes, but he was raised in a family for maybe 18, 20 years before he became a bit independent. So the values in that family, if they beat their wives in that family, they will beat you. If they nag in that family, he will nag you. Just watch out that all this one that they do initially is honeymoon paparazzi. So beyond names, that's what I'm trying to say here. While it's great that there's a good, great name, reputable name, legendary name like the Otedolas and all that. Beyond names, what value is the person you are marrying importing into your life? Yes, marry a lazy family and you'll hear when you will know that that man is actually lazy. You know that that woman is actually lazy. Yeah, a tree, they say a fruit does not fall what? Far. A fruit does not fall far away from its tree. Yes. So while it's great to be discussing family names and influence and all that, like we're talking about, family values at the end of the day, surname or not, you see that family value, it is what is most important. Family values is what will make or break your marriage. Family values, family values, the values that Tammy is bringing to that wedding, if she's such that she believes, oh, I'm the best thing next to potato and fried rice, I should control this home. I should. Well, if the man can lay low and submit the wife in this case, which is opposite of what the Bible says, the marriage will work. But if she's the submissive, that's what we have seen. If she's the submissive, the well trained, the homely, the caring, the loving, the faithful wife, that is a value that can make a marriage work. Name will not make a marriage work. Say after me. Name will not make a marriage work. No, no, no. Surname will not make a marriage work. Whether look at Beyonce Knowles and Jay-Z. Whoever thought? I mean, that marriage should be well over a decade now. Whoever thought that marriage would last? Whoever thought? I mean, Beyonce stuck to her name. She's still Beyonce Knowles till tomorrow. She doesn't. Oh, you don't know? Yeah, she's still Beyonce Knowles. She never changed to Carter, which is Jay-Z's name. So, but that marriage has worked. So, my friend, you can choose to hold on to surname. You can choose to let go of surname if your values that you bring to the marriage, if the values you've been trained with, if your habits, if the things you believe in, by values, I mean the things that drive you, the things that you believe, your thinking, your mindset, your mentality, the way you reason, the way you think, it's a function many times of the family that you were raised in. And you should write that down. It's a function of the family that you were raised in. That's why, haven't you seen in some cases a boy that watches his father beat his mother? And every time his father beats his mother, he'll be crying, "Oh, Daddy, stop it. Daddy." Then after that, he will go to his mom and say, "Oh, I hate what Daddy does to you. I'll never do this to my wife. I'll never do this in my life. I'll never do this." More often than not, that young boy, not because he wants to, but because of what he sees, ends up becoming a wife beater too. Yeah, that's the power of values, man. Values in the family. Values in the family. The other day, I was watching some girls and their mom, and they were using a sexual toy to touch their mom, and they were saying it's a massager. And a lot of people were all over the comment section, and they were saying, "Oh, this is lack of training. That's why a man should be in the house and all that stuff." Now, as funny as that video might appear, as seemingly harmless as that video might appear, the values in that home is obvious. The values in that home, from that video, the values in that home is obvious. That there's no training. That the house where this one center, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. So those are the things you that are important. Names can be great. Names can be fantastic, but names have never kept a marriage. Names have never kept a marriage. Hard work, your values, your belief system keeps the marriage. Excuse me. Hard work plus your values plus your belief system is what keeps a marriage. Name has never been known to keep a marriage. If names kept marriages, many of these successful celebrities that we know that we see breaking up, they wouldn't have broken up. They would have stayed married now. Or what do you guys feel? So names don't keep a marriage. No, it doesn't. Give me a second. Names don't keep the marriage. Oh. Name? No. Names don't keep the marriage. Oh. Name? No, 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 no. So those that are saying, "Oh, she shouldn't have changed the name. Oh, she should have stuck with the name." This lady is a keeper, and she wants to keep her marriage. She's a keeper. I like that about her. I like that about you, Temi. I like what you're doing, making the right choices. It appears, it appears, and whichever surname it is, yes. What I understand that the name Otedola, adds respect, in society, has some level of like presence, Get the name has some demure. There's some demure to the name Otedola. Like, but are we expecting Miss Daisy to change to Tosin or Otedola? No, now. Oh, we want Temi should have kept the name. Temi should have kept the name. Okay, I hear you. But Temi keeping the name will not keep the marriage. And the most important thing is for the marriage to work. And I see here two winners. In Tosin and Temi, I see two amazing winners. And I see, you guys mark my word, I see a time when the Ajibade name will be as big, will stand at par with the Otedola name. Yeah, that's where I see those guys working towards. That's why I see them working towards. That's why I see them working towards. They're working towards greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness. And I love it. You will love it. I love it. I love it. Take note to name enough names, enough successful names people have married and changed to, enough successful names that people refuse to change to. But that will never, ever, ever keep the home or the marriage. It has never happened before, and it will not happen. That, oh, the more powerful the name is, the more you keep your father's powerful name, the more your marriage will work out or your marriage will be successful. No, they happen. You are the one that will need to bring in the right values into the marriage. I mean, when you see, when I see, now I've been married for quite some time. I've been married for, I'm running to 2 decades now of marriage. Yeah, yeah. I don't look it at me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, but when I see the younger people, and when you go to TikTok at times, you go to some of these platforms and you read comments and you're able to just read through the mindset and mentality of a lot of young people. At times, I'm afraid for people that are raising their children right. Like, one of your key prayer points as a parent, raising your own child right, raising your daughter right, raising your son right, is that God will make them not fall into the hands of terrible women or terrible man, a terrible woman or a terrible man. It should be a major prayer point. There are so many unraised, let me put it that way, no value, no culture, young men and women out there. And they are looking for husbands, they are looking for wives. So you that you are raising your own with strong value system, you are investing, you are sending them to the best of schools, you are making sure they turn out right. You must not just leave it at that. You must make part of your prayer that God, let them meet and fight to find the right person. You must stand in the gap for your children. You must stand in the gap for your children. The generation upcoming, the Gen Zs and all that, the values, the mindset, the thinking, it's just so, for many of them, it's just so inappropriate. Let me put it that way. They have so much expectations and they do little. There's a lot of entitlement. Go on TikTok and read comments. There's a lot of entitlement. There's a lot of ignorance. A lot of people are not, a lot of not educated, just the basic education. So a lot of ignorance. So yeah, is that the time you now be thinking of name? Oh God, help my children, help my brother, help my cousin, help them to meet and find the right person. That will have the strong values. Strong values. See, values beats name anytime, any day. If you are now able to get someone with strong values and a great name like Tosin found in Temi Otedola, beautiful. Because Temi Otedola was just the total package for Tosin. Values, ide. Powerful name, ide. Money, ide. Just an amazing, amazing, amazing discovery for him right there. Amazing discovery for Tosin, and congratulations to him. Congratulations to him. Yeah, congratulations to him right there. So let me know, which would you do? Which would you do? Which would you choose? Would you drop name? Would you do compound name, or would you keep your father's name totally as a woman? Or what would you advise your sister or your cousin to do? Drop the name totally, keep your maiden name totally, that's your father's name, or do a compound name. Let me know. Let me know. And that thing is just so confusing. Why do they call it maiden name? So if if you have a son and he wants to fill a form in the bank, they will ask for his mother's maiden name, meaning the mother's surname when she was not married, when she was single. But that maiden name is the mother's father's name. So well, I get a hang of it. I get a hang of it. Just thinking, shouldn't it be like your mother's father's name, your mother's maiden name? Like, so when she's married, she's no longer maiden. Oh my goodness. And that's what, that's usually the thing they ask for. So it's like a next level of checking the background of the child. like they ask for the mother's maiden name. Hmm. So in a case where the mother did not change her name and she named the children after, like the mother named the children after herself. So what's the mother's maiden name? So that means the guy's surname will be maybe the son's surname will be maybe in Toto Dike's case now, if she still hasn't changed the name of the child to Churchill. So the son's name will be uh King DK, right? So if King DK now needs to fill a form and they say, what's your mother's maiden name? DK is already his surname, then his mother's maiden name will still be DK. Is that not going to cause confusion? Is that not going to cause maybe loss of opportunities at some point? So for the ladies that prefer to name the children after themselves, after their father's name, they should think about that and think about several other complex things that can happen from doing that, like from naming your child after, like a lady, you are naming a child not after the father's surname, but after your own surname. So, like a Tonto DK now, so King DK. So when King DK needs to write out his surname and his mother's maiden name, so it will be DK in the surname, it will be DK in the mother's maiden name. Wow, that's something. That's something I think I frown on that though. I frown on that. Even if you have issues or grievances against the dad of the child, it is dad. Let him bear the surname of his father. If unless maybe there's a meaning the name has, maybe there's a context to it, maybe there's something you don't want your child to be spiritually associated with or something. Uh-huh. But then you can choose maybe one of the father's first names or something. Yeah, maybe the father's first name instead of totally naming a child after yourself as a woman, naming a child after your surname, your own father's surname. You should be able to, even if you don't like the father, if it's just disagreements, let him use the name of his father. If it's something with meaning of the name, then you can just what you can do in that case is you can just pick maybe one of the names of the dad, the first name, the second name, and just use that as his name, and that works. And that works right there. And that works right there. 1 second, please. And that works right there. So you just mix the names. You mix the names. You can just do maybe the father is George Ofororo, and you don't want to use Ofororo. So what do? You just pick George, or you pick another middle name. Maybe you can even combine them. George Stanley. So your child will be Philip George Stanley or something. Yeah, that works. That works right there. Sorry about that. I just had to quickly refresh with some water. Yeah. All right. So, so that's that. You should not. A mother should not decide that our child is going to bear our own name. I think it will result in some complications later on. But for me, really, should be said as I begin to bring this to a wrap tonight. If you hear my voice, you know I'm a bit tired today. I'm a bit tired, but I said I would always show up. I would always show up. And here I am showing up. That weekdays, I would always try my best possible best to show up with the lives every evening, trusting that you guys too will be there to show up. Yeah, and I love the responses I've been getting. And of course, there was a break in transmission earlier. The live ended. So the first part of this, you can still see that the first part of this is going to be on my playlist, on my video list, and this is the second part because there was a break in the transmission earlier. Yeah. So values matters. So let me ask you, which would you pick? A family that does not have a great name, but they have amazing values, They've raised their children well, but the name is not popular and they are quite well to do. Or a family that is very successful, well known, popular all over the world, but the stories you hear about them is just chaotic, like no values from one jaga jaga to the other all over the world. They are engaged in all sorts. Which of these families would you rather marry into? I would like to hear from you. Let me hear from you in the chat, and that'll be our last poll for tonight. That'll be the last poll for tonight. So, a family that is very successful, but everywhere you hear about them goes brass, 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 jaga, jaga, versus a family that, they're not so popular, the name is not so big, but they have strong values. They teach their children well. They raise their children well. They raise them in the right way, in the way of the Lord. They raise them properly. Which of these families would you marry into? Let me read from you in the chat. Which of these families would you marry into? Which of these families would you marry into? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, surname or not, whether Temi drops surname or not, whether she still uses the Otedola or not, what will make this marriage work is their values. Is the values they got from those families. Is the values, is values like fidelity, values like being faithful to your wife. As Mr. Easy gotten that, as was able to get that while growing up, is that disciplined? Values like submission to your husband, honoring your husband, even though you may be wealthier, honoring him. As Tammy been able to get that from her family, from her father, from her siblings, while growing up, from her family, from her training. You see those values? They are the things that will keep the marriage and the home jari. Yeah, it's those values that will actually keep the marriage and the home. Now those values go keep the marriage and the home. Bam, 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 zam, bam, 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 bam. Yes, values. So, which are you gonna do? Which are you gonna do? Would you prefer to marry into a family that has the right and they're not as popular, or you will go for a family that is so popular and well known, but zero values? Which would you go for? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Drop your chat. Drop your chat. Let me know. Let me know. Which would you go for? Which would you go for? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I want to hear from you. I want to read from you. Oh my. I love this chair, man. It's just so adjustable and it's just so amazing. You can just drop it back and just relax and chill. So let me know. One of the things I try to do with my life nowadays is that I just try to be real with you guys. Like, I just want us to be able to connect. Like, you know, while of course I'm still presenting, I'm still expected to have the presenting gesticulations and all that. But most importantly, I want my viewers to be able to connect with me and just know me. I want to be able to be vulnerable with my viewers and just be real with you guys, So even though we are discussing very serious, critical matters, I still want to be able to connect. And just know that when you're coming on this live, anything can happen. That it's a real thing. So, which is why this is happening right now. And I'm just like chilling. And do you like it? Do you guys like the chair? It's just, it also swivels. It swivels. It goes up and down too. I think this is the low level now. I'm not sure if it's the low level or high level. It goes up and down. And it's just a quite cool chair for me for working and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So very cool. So can you guys tell me? Let me know what would you do? What would you do? That's the question now. Like, what would you do? What would you choose between a family that has no values? They are in the news for all sorts of atrocities and negative things, but they have a big name and is a very hugely successful family, or a family with values, discipline, well-disciplined children, disciplined father and mother, and all that. And yeah, but their name is not as popular. Which of these families would you marry into? Which of these families would you marry into? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. It's been a long day for me. I've just been from, I think I got up today around to 6, to 6 in the morning, and it's been non-stop work, as in non-stop till now. When I say non-stop, no break, non-stop from then till now. Yeah, yeah, it's been non-stop. So forgive me that maybe I sound a bit tired and all that. And yeah, because that's because I'm actually tired. And then, but I got to show up for you guys every weekday evenings, our lives. So here I am showing up for you guys. So the question is, which would you choose? A family with values without popularity, or family with popularity and fame with zero values? Which would you go for? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Which would you go for? A family without values, zero sense of responsibility and culture to culture and all that, but they are hugely popular and successful cash wise. Or a family with the values, with the right mindset, good people, but zero popularity and not as rich, just getting by very well. Which would you prefer to marry into? Let me know in the chat as we begin to wrap up tonight on our live. It's been an amazing session here with you guys. I've had a wonderful, wonderful time tonight on this live. I didn't have this live until this evening. I was so, like I said, I was so busy. I didn't even have a topic I was going to discuss until this evening. And I just said, hey, let's talk about ladies changing names, married with Temi Otedola, on the radar of the press right now. Also, it was just a good thing to talk about and all that. So yeah, so that's the final poll for tonight. Yeah, whenever you're watching this, please drop in the comments between a family that is influential, popular, rich, but with very terrible values and terrible mindsets and way of thinking, versus like they are not kind. They are not kind. They're just for themselves. Versus a family with amazing values, but not as popular. Which would you rather marry into? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Which would you rather marry into? 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 Out of the two, which would you rather marry into? A family that they have values, but they are not so popular, they are not so well known, or a family that is like very popular but terrible values, or family that are not so popular but amazing values, amazing principles. Which would you choose to marry into? I would like to know. Can you just drop in the chat for me? I'd like to read from you before we close for tonight. Before we close for tonight, which would you rather marry into? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. I say make I stretch. Which would you rather marry into? All right. All right. Right now, we need to begin to bring the live to a close. We've had so much fun time here discussing the relative importance of a woman getting married and keeping her father's name, her surname, versus making it a compound name, versus changing it totally true to her husband's surname. And we looked at it through the lens of the Temi Otedola, who is now Temi Ajibade's recent change of her name totally to her husband's name, which is just an amazing thing to learn from. God bless you. Thank you for joining tonight. It's been an amazing session. I can't wait to hit the bed and sleep, man. I love you all. See you tomorrow or probably next week on another live. My weekends are always so huge. So I do my lives from Monday. My YouTube lives go on from Monday to Friday. Till I see you, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you, everyone that joined, everyone that shared a like, a love, an emoji. God bless you, and bye now.